So today was supposed to be our big entry point into section 2 of the quantum jump primer, the part where we start, tackling inner clearing and emotional readiness. We had the whole map laid out.
We did. And then the breathing series, which has been in the lab for a while now, essentially knocked on the door and said, hey, what if I showed up before the big finale this time?
Right. So consider this a necessary, a gentle interruption to your regularly scheduled arc.
It really is.
Before we even begin the work of clearing closets and, tending to the emotional dust bunnies in section 2, we want to invite your nervous system to just move in and stabilize a little more right now.
It's a really strategic shift, and it's based on experience. In the last big arc we did, the breathing series showed up at the very, very end.
That was like a bonus.
Yeah, it was a reward. You made it through 4 intensive sections. Here's an hour-long breathing mix as your integration prize.
And that worked wonderfully. But what we realized almost immediately is that people only discovered this incredibly crucial stabilizing tool after they had already finished the entire, sometimes really intense journey.
It was backwards, frankly. So this time, we're changing the script, the tracks are done, the music is woven, your breath is definitely ready. So we're inserting the breathing series right here.
Between section 1 and section 2.
Exactly. Between the foundational work and the deep emotional work.
I love that framing. It's like upgrading the foundation while the house is still being built.
That's a great way to put it.
You start using these tracks now, and they just quietly reinforce and support everything that comes next. It's a resource you can actively use while you are in the thick of it.
Precisely. And this change, it really reflects a major learning curve from the prototype.
Right.
In that structure, we built the 4-section arc first, and then the breathing series was added later, almost as a supplemental tool for when everything was complete.
These tracks were useful not just after a deep session, but in the middle of a regular, stressful Tuesday.
Or while you were navigating the core material itself.
Yeah. The system needed that built-in nervous system support during the arc, not just save for the landing strip at the end.
So for the Quantum Jump Primer, we designed the entire structure, the songs, the breathing tracks, all at once in one holistic pass.
And that gave the freedom to release them in a more supportive order.
It did. It gave us the freedom to put things where they actually help the most.
Which brings us to today. We're placing this right after section 1, which was all about orientation, prep, getting stable. So the breathing series is here to offer ongoing support. It's a companion resource, an anchor, not some, rigid gate you have to pass through. It's just here to help you get steady.
Okay, so let's unpack the mechanics of what these tracks actually are, because they're not just guided meditations. They are essentially sophisticated sensory tools.
Each one is an hour-long instrumental session.
A continuous breathing session, yeah.
And the music is probably going to sound familiar if you've been through section 1, right?
It should. It's built from the background compositions used in the Quantum Jump Primer jumps themselves.
Right.
We've simply stitched that sonic field into a coherent hour-long mix.
So it feels like one long ambient flow.
Exactly. But the genius, I think, is in the user interface. On top of that ambient music, there's a really distinct, separate audio layer. And it gives you these incredibly simple prompts.
The bell and the cymbal.
A gentle bell sound signals,
Yeah.
breathe in, and then a clear cymbal sound signals, breathe out.
Okay, so I have a question here. Because for a lot of people, controlled breathing means counting. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6.
Sure.
Doesn't getting rid of that counting feel a little like cheating? What's the real benefit of outsourcing that timing to the audio?
It's actually the opposite of cheating. It's cognitive liberation.
Okay, break that down.
When you force yourself to count 4 or 5, 6 now, you keep your prefrontal cortex, the calculating part of your brain, highly engaged.
It's doing work.
It's doing work. It requires energy and attention. By outsourcing the timing entirely to that external cue, you eliminate the mental labor.
So the mind, instead of worrying about the numbers, is free to actually settle into the feeling of the breath.
Which is the whole point of regulation.
Right.
Exactly. You remove the cognitive friction, and that lets the nervous system just follow the rhythm without any mental interference. And critically, there are 2 core physiological rules built right into this pattern.
Okay, what are they?
First, there are absolutely no breath holds at the top or the bottom.
Just a smooth transition.
Immediate and fluid. And the second rule is the one that really drives the change.
This is the big one.
It is the most critical. The exhale is consistently and subtly longer than the inhale.
Okay, this is where we need to dive into the simple foundational science. The common analogy is that the autonomic nervous system is like a car with an accelerator and a brake pedal.
right? Your inhale acts as the gentle accelerator. It slightly increases your heart rate, nudges you towards sympathetic mode action, alertness.
And the exhale is the brake.
The exhale is the brake pedal. It slows the heart rate and actively engages the parasympathetic system. That's your rest, digest, and recovery mode.
And that dynamic is what researchers measure as respiratory sinus arrhythmia, or RSA, which is a big part of your overall heart rate variability, HRV. But why is the longer exhale so potent?
Because the vagus nerve, which is like the main highway for your parasympathetic system, is much more active during the exhale.
Okay.
So by making that exhale intentionally longer, even if just half a second longer, you're basically sending a direct signal to your body that you're safe.
The stressor's gone, time to recover.
You got it. You're deliberately spending more time with your foot on the brake.
So we're not aiming for breathlessness or some kind of maximal effort.
Precisely. And this is where the research around what's called coherent breathing comes in.
Right.
Studies show that when people breathe at a rate of about 5.5 breaths per minute, they often hit this state of optimal cardiac coherence, where everything lines up. Yeah, your heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing all synchronize. It maximizes the efficiency of your whole system.
So that 5.5 breaths per minute rate is kind of the sweet spot for the vagal nerve to do its best work.
It is the gold standard for many people. It's where you maximize that brake pedal effect. And the breathing series gives you tracks specifically for that 5.5 rate, but also a ton of options around it because everyone's sweet spot is a little different.
Which brings us to the logistics. If the goal is this optimal state, the big question is, what speed should you be driving at? Why 15 different tempos?
Because what's easy and restorative for one person at 5.0 breaths per minute might feel like fighting for air for someone else.
Especially on a high-stress day.
Exactly. So we offer 15 distinct tracks. They range from the faster, more relaxed paces all the way down to some very slow, deep ones. Same music, just different spacing between the bell and the cymbal.
Let's talk about that range, because it's pretty vast. You start at the faster end, which is generally easier for beginners, 7.0, 6.0, 5.5, 5.0 breaths per minute. Then you move into these deeper, slower ranges, 4.5, 4.25, 4.0, and even these fractional paces like 3.75 all the way down to 2.0. And the title clearly states the pace, which is helpful.
And here's the single most critical concept we want you to take away. Comfort is the compass.
Say more about that.
If you select a pace and it feels rushed or strained, or you find yourself kind of reaching for air before the next cue, that pace is just too slow for your system in that moment.
But you shouldn't be forcing yourself into the slowest rate just because it sounds, I don't know, more advanced.
Absolutely not. That would defeat the entire purpose. The goal is ease and effortlessness. If you feel stress while you're doing this, you're actively sending the wrong signal. The tracks are there to serve your comfort, not to test your lung capacity.
That makes perfect sense. But let's challenge those fractional steps for a second. Why do we need 3.75? Is a quarter of a breath per minute really that noticeable? It sounds like it could make the catalog a bit complicated.
It sounds like it, but it's not once you understand the physics of timing.
Okay.
The relationship between breaths per minute and the actual duration of each breath, it's exponential, not linear, especially on the slow end.
Elaborate on that.
Okay, think about it this way. The difference between breathing at 7 breaths a minute and 6 is pretty subtle. It adds maybe a second to the total cycle.
Right.
But once you get down into those slow ranges, say moving from 3.0 to 2.75, that tiny 0.25 difference actually adds almost half a second to every single inhale-exhale cycle.
Wow. Okay, so half a second. When you're already holding a pace for 18 or 20 seconds, that becomes a huge noticeable jump.
It's a massive hurdle. It's like docking a huge ship. When you're moving fast, a small rudder change doesn't do much. But when you're moving slowly, millimeter adjustments are critical. Those fractional steps are the millimeter adjustments. They prevent you from having to take this big, stressful leap in duration, so the track stays supportive as you explore.
That's a powerful justification. It's all about meeting the system exactly where it is. Okay, so let's get practical. Now that you have these 15 options, how should you actually start using this alongside the quantum jump primer?
I would suggest starting somewhere in the comfortable middle, maybe 5.0 or 6.0 breaths per minute. Establish that as a baseline.
And then adjust from there.
Yeah. If that feels rushed, try a bit slower. If you feel like you're straining for air, try a faster tempo. Just experiment and always prioritize comfort over performance.
And the beauty is you don't need the full hour every time, right? We've come up with a few recipes for how to use these, especially moving into the more intense section 2.
The first one is the most obvious.
Yeah.
The daily reset. Just pick a comfortable pace, use it for 10 or 20 minutes as an anchor between sections, or at the start or end of your workday. It's very low friction.
I really like the second one, the pre-jump warm-up. I know my own mind tends to race before a deep session. How does breathing with a track for just a few minutes before you hit play change things?
It creates transition space.
Yeah.
Your system moves out of that analytical, deadline-driven reality and just arrives more fully in your body.
So you start the jump with higher quality attention.
Yes. The jump starts deeper, faster, because you're already settled. And finally, of course, the standalone practice. You don't have to be jumping at all. It's just a simple music-backed practice for general stress relief on days when you need to find the brake pedal.
This timing is just so crucial for the whole arc. Section 1 was about stabilization and noticing. The breathing series reinforces that with a totally repeatable tool.
And you need that stability.
So the breathing series isn't just background noise. It's a profound, steady rhythm placed beneath the entire primer journey. The jumps offer the powerful shifts, and the breathing tracks help your system remember how to effortlessly return to calm.
So that's the breathing series for the Quantum Jump Primer. 15-hour-long tracks built from the same musical field as the jumps, each one giving you a slightly different, precise breathing rhythm to rest inside.
And you don't have to memorize anything or count seconds or even think about the science. You just follow the bell for inhale, the cymbal for exhale, at whatever pace feels effortless for you.
So if you decide to experiment, maybe choose one or two tempos that feel inherently kind to your body, treat them like a non-negotiable daily reset while you keep moving through the primer.
And as always, listen to your own system. If you feel lightheaded or dizzy or uncomfortable at any point, just pause the track immediately. Return to your normal breathing. These are support tools, never a substitute for medical care.
From here, we will step into Section 2 of the Quantum Jump Primer and begin working with inner clearing and emotional readiness.
If you want to keep traveling with us through the primer and all future arcs, make sure you're subscribed to House of Mystics on YouTube.
And turn on those notifications. That way the next sections, new jumps, and future tracks will be easy to find when they land.
For now, breathe with what's already here. We'll meet you in Section 2.